New satellite images show a suspected oil spill near Iran's main oil hub of Kharg Island. It is the largest spill captured since the start of the war and the disruption of global oil prices. Well, oil prices today put West Texas crude at $94.68 a barrel, and AAA says the average price for a gallon of regular gas today is $4.53.
We are embroiled in multiple armed conflicts, including an illegal war in Iran that has already cost the lives of thousands of civilians, 13 service members, and hundreds of our proud men and women in service who've been severely injured. And oil and gas prices are sky high right now.
MS Now reporter Laura Hayfleet joins me from El Segundo, California. That's where average gas prices are closer to $6.15 per gallon of regular. Yikes. By the way, I was in L.A. earlier this week. I filled up my son's car. Ouch. I mean, it was a lot. So what are you hearing about how global disruption is affecting the U.S., Laura?
Alex, that's quite the gift from a good mom, because that's an expensive gas price for sure. You must be a happy son. But look, I got to go inside of Chevron's oil refinery in El Segundo, California. They're refining 12 million gallons of oil per day. And I got to learn for myself from the source why it is so difficult for California especially to get oil, and why in part it's contributing to these gas prices. Look behind me here for a second. I'll take your and I'll raise you $6.49 per gallon for regular. And look at that diesel cost, $7.59 for diesel. This is why California drivers are so frustrated. Take a look.
With the halt at the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. oil supply gap is here, and Californians could soon face the worst supply crisis in the U.S. And at Chevron's Southern California refinery, we saw it for ourselves.
Right now, I'm literally standing on the edge of the Chevron oil refinery right along the El Segundo coast. You see those oil tankers out there? Right now, they're piping crude oil through the water into the refinery. But the only difference, there's not a single gallon of Middle Eastern oil on board.
60% of its crude oil comes from overseas, and critically, 25% of its gasoline and 20% of its jet fuel. And while oil can move freely across most of the U.S., in California, it cannot. The massive web of pipelines carrying crude oil and fuel across state lines can't come into California, in part because of mountain ranges, desert, and, of course, politics. That's because of a century-old law, the Jones Act, requiring vessels shipping oil between U.S. ports to be American-owned, crewed, and built, making it cheaper for California to import oil from Asia or the Middle East. The Trump administration has issued a temporary waiver allowing for lenience on the act, but it may be too little too late. So the company's leaning into alternative markets as far away as Brazil and Venezuela.
We've had to be flexible in the locations that we bring crude in from and the types of crudes that we bring in to process.
Not a long-term solution, because without competition from the Middle East, prices could go up.
They're actually refining 12 million gallons per day of crude oil. They're doing it behind me here, making critical products like gasoline and jet fuel.
That's equivalent to 1/3 of LAX's jet fuel, and enough for 1 in 4 vehicles driving through Southern California.
I want to give you a little more perspective here of just how much trouble California could be in. I just heard from Chevron. They told me that refinery, let's say an oil tanker pulls up, on average, that oil tanker only lasts them 1 week. So they already have limited access to oil. They go through those tankers quickly. So this is a serious issue. And my biggest takeaway from my reporting is politics has really caused California to seemingly be unprepared for this moment. Alex?
Okay, heck of a report. Thank you very much, Laura Hayfleet from El Segundo.